Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to learn about Modify Toolbars in AutoCAD. You can begin with the Modify Toolbars, but first you have to draw objects to modify them. If you have some objects drawn, if you want to change them or if you want to edit them, you can use Modify Toolbars. Copy is one of the Modify Toolbars that is frequently used in AutoCAD. Let's jump into it. Let's draw a line. Let's draw a line of length 10 units. I will draw a line of 10 feet since my unit is set up to engineering. Now to copy this line along horizontal or vertical direction, you have to just select this line and CO enter. CO is the shortcut for copy command. After typing CO and pressing enter, you have to select a base point in order to copy this line. Let's select this endpoint. If you do not see these endpoints, you can just go to object snap settings and take the required snapping points as your requirement. Now let's copy this line with this base point. I will click on this point. If you know a point you need to copy, then you can just click on that point. For example, if I know a point over here, I will click on this point and it makes a copy of this line. But if you do not know the point and you need to specify a distance, then you have to type in distance on the direction where you want to copy this line. For now, let me type in 5 feet. You can see this line has been copied towards the vertical direction downward, and if you are going to copy this line towards the horizontal direction, you need to first know the length of the line. In this way you can use the copy command. Similarly, our next modify toolbar is move. If you need to move this line to a certain distance, then you can just press in M enter and click the base point. For now I will select this point, and if I am going to move this line upwards at a distance 10 feet, I will move my cursor to the upward direction and I will just press in 10 feet and enter. You can see this line has been moved from this point to this point. Basically, you should know that copy makes the duplicate of the line, whereas move command moves the line from one position to another position. Similarly, we can use an offset command. For that, just type in O, enter. O is the shortcut for offset, and now you can specify the offset distance. Basically, offset means copying a line multiple times towards the perpendicular direction. If you have a vertical line, then you have to offset it to the left or right. If you have a horizontal line, then you have to offset it towards the towards upward or downward direction. For now, I have a horizontal line and I will specify offset distance as 2 feet, and now select the line and click on the side where you need to offset your line. I will click on this side, click. If I select this line and again click on this side, the line will be offsetted towards its perpendicular direction. You can similarly do the job. You can just select the line and press the delete button to erase your line or erase your object. Now another modify toolbar is rotate. Select the line, press RO enter and select a base point from where you need to rotate this line. I will select this point, and if you move your cursor towards any direction, this line will rotate on the basis of the movement of the cursor. But if you type in some angle, for example, let me type in 135 and enter, this line will be rotated towards the anti-clockwise direction at an angle that you have typed in. Now let's jump into mirror. For that, let me draw a triangle. If you need to mirror these two lines towards this right, you need to select this axis, and if you need to mirror these two lines towards downward direction, you need to select this axis, and if you need to mirror these two lines towards this direction, you need to select this line as an axis. This means you need an axis to mirror a line. For now, let me select these two lines and just type in MI and press enter. Now select this axis to mirror these lines towards the downward direction. You have to select the axis, 2 points on the axis. One point is this, just click on this point, and another point is this and click on this point. And if you press yes, then the original object will be deleted and the mirror object will only be seen on our screen. But if you press no or if you type and enter, then both the source object and the mirror object can be seen on our screen. For now I am clicking on this no. You can see the source object and the mirror object both are seen on our screen. Now let me mirror this towards this horizontal direction. For now I will select these three lines and again press MI enter. Click on this first axis point and again click on this second axis point, and now you type in Y enter or you press yes. You can see the original object or the source object has been erased and the mirror object has only been left on our screen. In this way you can mirror your objects. Let's delete now. One of our another toolbar is trim and extend. Trim and extend both work in the similar way. For that, let me draw a construction line. Excel enter. Let me draw some construction lines. This is a construction line. Let me draw another construction line here, here and here. This is only to show you how trim and extend works. For trimming an object, you can just press in TR enter and keep on clicking the line until you meet your requirement. If you press shift, you are on the trim command, but if you press shift, keep on pressing shift and clicking the end of the line, you can extend this line too. Again, if you leave the shift and again click this line, you can trim, but if you press shift and again click on the line, you can extend this line. Similarly, you can trim your object by selecting the boundaries. For example, if I need to trim my line from this line and this line, I need to trim the line between these two lines, then I have to select these two boundaries and simply press TR enter and click on this line. You can see the line between the boundary lines has been trimmed. Similarly, for extend, let me trim this line first. Let me move this line here. For performing an extend command, you can type in EX enter and keep on clicking the end point of end of the line to extend this line to the required position. But you can do this in a better way by selecting this boundary. If you select this boundary first and press EX and enter and select this line, then this line is extended at once. This is the easiest way to extend a line or trim a line. Now let's talk about breaking a line at a point or breaking a line at 2 points. That means let's talk about the break modify command. Let's draw a line here. Let's draw a line here and a line here. Now if you need to break this line from a single point, you can use break command, or if you need to break this line from 2 points, you can use break command. Let's type in BR enter, click the line you need to break, press F enter and click on the point 2 times from where you need to break this line. Click and click. You can see this line has been broken into 2 parts. Again, Ctrl Z to undo the break command. If you need to break this line from 2 different points, then again you have to type in BR enter, select the line and F enter and press the first point and the second point to break this line from 2 different points. Simply press J enter, click this line and click this line and press enter. You can see this line joins automatically, and you can not only join these lines but you can join multiple lines too. For example, if I have drawn these 3 lines, I will simply select all these lines and press J enter. You can see these lines have been joined. Now let's jump into our next command, that is explode. For exploding a block, this is a rectangle. If you select this, all the lines will be selected at once. But if you need to explode it and make these lines individual lines, then you have to simply explode this feature, explode this object. For that, simply select on the rectangle and press X enter. You will see these lines have been separated and have been exploded. In this way you can use the explode command. Let's jump into chamfer and fillet. For that, let me draw two lines of known length. Let me draw a line of length 10 feet towards the horizontal direction and 5 feet towards vertical direction. You can see these two lines. If you need to fillet these lines with an arc, then you can simply type F enter. Before selecting these lines, you have to press in the radius of the arc, because fillet means joining these two lines by an arc. Talking about arc, if you are going to draw an arc to join these two lines, then you have to give the radius of the arc. So just press in R enter. Let's type in the fillet radius. Now you have to notice, or you have to know that you cannot press the fillet radius greater than the length of the line. For example, this line is of length 10 feet and this line is of length 5 feet. You cannot press 6 feet to draw a fillet to fillet these two lines, because the maximum length of the shorter line is 5 feet. So you have to put the radius of the fillet lesser than the length of the line or equal to the length of the line, length of the shortest line. You can see the shortest line in our drawing is of 5 feet, so that you have to press either 5 feet or smaller value than the 5 feet. You cannot press 6 feet. It will not allow you to fillet your objects. You can see this by an example. Let me type in here 4 feet, because we have the shortest length of the line as 5 feet. Let me type in here 4 feet for the radius of the fillet. 4 feet enter, and you can click on these two lines. You can see a fillet, an arc has been drawn to fillet these two lines. Let me simply press Ctrl Z to undo this command. Again F enter, R enter, and now let me type in 5 feet and press enter. You can again see this has been filleted. Again press Ctrl Z and press F enter, R enter, and now let me type in 6 feet and enter. And if you click this line and click this line, you will see an invalid prompt on your AutoCAD screen. That means you have to type in the fillet radius smaller than the length of the shortest line. In this way you can fillet your objects. Now let's talk about chamfer. Chamfer means if you trim an object in this pattern, then you call it as chamfer. For working with chamfer command, press CHA enter. Now you have to give the distance of the chamfer, so just press D enter, and you need to specify the first chamfer distance. The chamfer distance should be less than the length of the line. The line drawn, just press in 7 feet enter, and again type in 3 feet enter. And if you press on this line first, then 7 feet applies to this line, and if you press on this second line on this line at the second time, then 3 feet applies to this line. But if you do it on the opposite way, then it will say that your command is invalid. For now, let me click on this line, and again let me click on this line. You can see this has been chamfered from with respect to this point. AutoCAD has understood this corner as the base point, and it has chamfered our line 7 feet away from this point and 3 feet away from this point, and it has drawn an inclined line to perform the chamfer command. Now I will do the same, but I will select the second line first. Let me do it. CHA enter, and again D enter. I will press the same distance, 7 feet enter and 3 feet enter. Now I will click this line first and this line second. Select and select. This shows us invalid because this line is of 5 feet and the chamfer distance was 7 feet. So that I have already said that during fillet or during chamfer, you need to specify the radius of the arc lesser or equal to the length of the shortest line, or if you are doing the chamfer, then you have to specify the distance lesser than the length of the shortest line. This is all about fillet and chamfer. For scaling an object, you need to draw an object first. Let me draw a rectangle, 10 feet by 6 feet rectangle. You can see this rectangle is of dimension 10 feet by 6 feet. Now I need to scale this rectangle to its double, then you can just select this rectangle and press SC enter. Click the base point, click on any point on the screen, or you can click the point on the object. Click. For now, let me press scale factor 3 and press enter. Now you can see this object has been scaled, and you can check if it has been scaled 3 times or not. We had our line 10 feet x to the x direction and 6 feet to the y direction. If you put your cursor on this grip, you can see this line as 30 feet and this line as 18 feet. That means 10 times 3 scale factor 3 is 30 and 6 times scale factor 3 is 18. This figure has been scaled 3 times greater than the original object. Now if I press again SC enter, click on the base point and press 0.5 and enter, then you can see this as the scale has been reduced and the size of the object has been reduced. You can just see here it is 15 feet and it is 9 feet. And again you can scale your object taking a reference of another line. For example, let me draw a line randomly. I do not know the length of this line, but I need to scale the base of this rectangle equal to the to this reference line. Then again I will select this object, press SC enter, click on the base point. Now type in R enter. Instead of scale factor, you have to type in reference, R enter. For referencing, you have to click on this point and this point, and you have to select the third point as the reference line endpoint. Now you can see this rectangle has been referenced according to the length of the reference line. Let us again press Ctrl Z. Now let's jump into our another modify toolbar, that is stretch. For stretching an object, we have to just press in S enter, and if you need to stretch this line, the line towards the right side, you need to select all the 3 lines, all the other 2 lines connected to this line in order to stretch this line towards the right direction. Now, and the method of selection is click on the right side of your screen and again select all these 3 lines and click on the left side and press enter. And now you can click the base point, click, and now you can specify the distance. For example, let me type in 5 feet. You can see this line was of 15 feet earlier, now it has become 20 feet. In this way you can stretch. Now again, if you need to stretch your line towards the vertical direction, that is if this line is 9 feet and if you need to make this line as 15 feet, then you can just press S enter, select this line, these 3 lines by this method, by this selection method, press enter, click on the base point and move towards the upward direction and just type in 6 feet enter. Now you can see these 2 lines have been stretched to 15 feet. In this way we can do our stretch command. That's all for today. Please like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you.